Hey everyone, I am Jamie Makin from What's Jamie Makin, Chalk Couture designer. I am here today to share some tips with you about using some transfers that are on the larger side. So hang out with me for the next couple minutes and I will share some of the best tips and tricks for using your large transfers. So typically when we have some new customers to Chalk Couture, we suggest you kind of stick around the 8.5 by 11 to 5 by 7 size because they are very manageable. It's a sheet of paper or smaller size. And it's extremely manageable, easy to use, easy to place, easy to clean. But I do know, especially around the holidays, some of the bigger transfers are super impressive and they are super pretty and we want them all. So I want to show you how we're actually going to use them. So when I say larger transfer, I'm talking the 12 by 18 and up size. So what I have for you today, I'm going to actually show you exactly how I do a 18 by 18. See? It's big. So because they're larger, there are just a few different little tricks. We're still going to do all of the same steps that you would do with any size transfer, but I'm just going to show you how to make it a little more usable. All right, let's switch over so I can show you what I'm talking about. All right, so here is our beautiful Joy to the World transfer, which is actually is back in stock. The first step is always to fuzz your transfer, right? So I've got my fuzzing cloths here. I'm gonna slide this out of the way for a second so I can show you what I do. So I actually have two fuzzing cloths because we're gonna fuzz this guy in two separate halves. It's gonna just make it so much easier. So we're gonna flip it over. This is the backing paper when I talk about that later. So we're gonna peel. Now you'll see I've already used, it does not matter what orientation you do the peeling, whatever way the paper wants to go for you. I've had this transfer since last year, so it's a little used. So we're gonna keep the paper on this side. If you have to, use your jar of paste to hold it, and you're gonna take your your fuzzing cloth and you're gonna fuzz this half. All right. And it's sticky, see? That's why we're keeping the backing paper on. So you can put the fuzzing cloth down and then hold the backer paper to peel it up. The trick here is we don't want to get the transfer to stick to itself, because it will. Sticky to sticky. I mean, you know, if that does happen, and it will, it's usually more common when you take it off and go to clean the transfer. But if it does, just run it under some cool water. It'll help loosen the adhesive to itself, and then you're good to go. You should be able to pull it apart. All right. Now, this side, you want to fuzz each half about 5 to 6 times. Now this side is done. So that means I have to fuzz this side still. I'm going to leave this fuzzing towel on the side that I've already done. And then I'm going to finish peeling the backing paper up. And use this fuzzing towel to do the other half. So if you do get it stuck together, you can also try to gently pull it apart if it's not a very big stick, or if you just did it, you might be able to just pull it right apart. Okie dokie. So we are fuzzed, and now it's time to put this bad boy on the board. So here's a pro tip for you that you didn't sign up for. When you're using a big old chalkboard, make sure, or when you're using any chalkboard, make sure that your hooks are at the top. Or I guess I should just say, make sure you know the orientation that you're working with. I want it facing me, so I know where top is and center and all that. Okay. Oh, gently pull, gently pull. Okay, so I'm gonna take the fuzzing cloth off. Ready? Now when you have brand new ones, they are very sticky. This one is, I've used this quite a few times, it is still quite sticky. If you find yourself in a bind where you've got something in one hand, like where I was just trying to pull the fuzzing cloth up and my hand was sticking, see if you can get one of these edges to stick to your board. Let your board help you hold the transfer down, because you can pull that up easy, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay this with the sticky side up and kind of figure out where I want it. So if you look at it, this one is pretty close to exactly right. There's a little bit of an extra lip on the edges. So I have a little bit of room to work with. So if I want to be super particular about it, I'm gonna really try and even out that space either way. So I'm going to grab the bottom and flip it over. Now, if you do this and it sticks, take it off and fuzz it some more. It should be able to glide over your chalkboard or whatever you're trying to put it on. And that kind of means that you have enough fuzz on it, all right? And we want enough fuzz so that it will come off easier. And the nice thing too with that glide, you can literally, kind of like you're putting a fitted or a flat sheet on your bed. You can just kind of floof up the transfer and just pull it into place where you want it. And I'm gonna put it right there. That looks pretty good to me. It's a tad crooked, but you know what? I'm all right with that. So with these big ones, it's also a little easier to get bubbles in them. So what I like to do is I like to start in the center and go out and flatten out and kind of radiate from the center down and out. And that's how I start. And I'll show you in just a second how we ensure that there's no bubbles, because we don't want to redo these. We don't have to. This guy here, our squeegee, is how I ensure that I don't have bubbles. I'm going to take it and go all the way down. And as you're doing that, if you do have bubbles, you'll hear them popping. Oh, I hear them. I just heard one. Just little ones. So if you do get a really big bubble, say you get a bubble right here, work it toward the nearest edge. So instead of trying to drag it all the way down here, this side is actually closer. So just kind of keep moving it that way. And you may find that you have to kind of work around it too and move the whole screen. But if you just go towards the smallest distance, you'll be in good shape. I think I'm good. I don't think I have any bubbles. Okay, so we've got our design. Now, you can get as fancy with this as you want. If you really wanted to, you could do red letters there, white bars, red words. Like, you could go to town, man. For purposes of this demonstration, we're going to be using jade, which is one of our new colors that is going to be fabulous for this board. Just a quick note on chalk paste. You want this creamy, dreamy yogurt sort of consistency. This will give you the absolute best application. It'll be nice and smooth, no chunks, no lumps, no nothing bad. If you're planning on using multiple colors in your design, then I recommend that you work in thirds and use the chalk and pull method. So I'll show you exactly what this is. You would do every single color up to 1/3 of the transfer. It does not matter if that's the top third or the bottom third. Doesn't matter, whatever makes you more comfortable. Okay, I've got my top third of the transfer done. This one's actually really great because it is visually cut in thirds because there's 3 bars. But so I've got all of my colors done up there. So that was the chalk part. This is the pull part. So we are literally going to don't mind my head for a minute. We're going to pull up what we just did, up until the line where we stopped. All right, and then we're going to very gently lay it back down. And what that does is it gives you time. It gives you a little more time to work. Our chalk paste does not dry that quickly, but if you're getting in there with multiple colors, you're really gonna, you tend to be a little more specific and a little more detailed. So it's gonna take you longer to do that section. So we're gonna let that dry underneath the screen while we keep working down here. But because we also kept this line intact right here, you just wanna run your finger along that and make sure that you didn't pull up any of the transfer. But now we can take as much time as we need to do the bottom because that part has already gone through the screen and is working on drying. All right, so because this is, because I'm only doing one color, I'm just gonna finish the whole thing. But if you were to continue your multiple colors, you would do this bar and do the same exact thing. Peel up to here and then lay it back down. It's probably important to let you know that you don't actually have to follow a visual straight line. You can follow a design line. And what I mean by that is like some of these notes kind of go over, like the tails of them go over or around the other lines. So you could choose to follow them or not follow them when you're picking out your line. There really is no set way to do this chalk and pull. It's whatever works best for you. And as you get faster, you may find that you only need to do half of a transfer instead of thirds. Okay. We're all chalked and beautiful. Ready? Let's look at what we did. See, that top is still beautiful, even though we laid the transfer back over it. Pull your transfers kind of straight up so that right from the middle and straight up, so that it'll tend not to roll in on itself. You might get the corners to tag, and I'm gonna make a mess of the transfer or the design just to show you this, but there, yeah, see, I messed it all up. So don't let your transfer touch your wet paste. So pretty. Okay, so mental note, or just creativity note, if you do mess up a corner, you can just wash that part off and lay it back over, or you can put a nice pretty little bouquet of flowers on there and cover that piece right up. Okay, so we've got our beautiful design and now we have to clean the transfer. Just like any other transfer, you want to use cool water. And I definitely recommend our board erasers. They usually come in a whole circle. I cut mine up. But these are the bee's knees on getting all of the screen clean. You can get just all of the paste off of all of the places, and we love that. So even though it's called a board eraser, I use it mostly for my transfers. So the big difference with the larger transfers is they might not fit in your sink. So what actually a lot of people do is they wash them in their bathtub. You know, it's not going to stain your tub or anything like that. So feel free to just wash it in your bathtub. It's a nice big sink, right? Why not? Once you get it all washed, I lay it down on a big old towel. So you can use a bathroom towel, beach towel, whatever. And what I do, I should probably mention, but when you're washing your transfers, you actually don't have to wash the back at all, unless you did like I did and you touched the transfer to the wet paste and got paste on the back. 99% of the time, you're not going to actually need to scrub any of the back of this, so it will help you keep the adhesive on here a lot longer if you can avoid that. But once it's wet, once it's all cleaned, I do take a microfiber towel and I just get all of the extra wet off. I do this with all of my transfers. It helps them to dry quicker, and you know, the longer wetness is on adhesive, it just kind of deteriorates it, and we don't want that. We want these transfers to last forever and ever. So this is what we do. We just wipe it down, just gently. Like I'm literally just kind of rubbing the cloth across it. Then I flip it over again. Do the same thing to the front side. And I'll let this dry for, well, honestly, I'll let it dry until I remember to come back and put it away. If we're being honest. But they don't take that long to dry. And if you are really in a hurry, you can hit it with a hairdryer on cool just to help it speed up. All right, we're all dry and everything is good. So now I'm going to show you how to get this confounded backing paper back on your transfer so you can put it away. This, guys, is probably, this might be the hardest part of chalking for anything. So this is actually the process that I use for any size transfer, but it's most especially important for the larger ones. You're going to take the transfer and flip it over. And we're going to put the backer on the transfer instead of the transfer on the backer. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. We're going to take this piece of paper that is not sticky. It is not flimsy. It's not going to fall all over on you. And we're going to line it up onto the sticky, flimsy bit that will move around on you. Get it? So this is just the easier piece to handle. There we go. See? Much easier. That, folks, was 2 years of experience with this. So don't expect that you're going to get it right on the first shot. So there we go. It's a little off kilter, but it'll be okay. It'll fit in the transfer okay, or in the bag all right. That's how I keep mine. I store mine right in the bag, and only that little bit of sticky will stick to the bag. So what I do is I actually leave that at the end. I'll put this side in the bag first, and then this side won't get all hung up on our design. Nope, won't get all hung up on the plastic. So there you go. That is how to fuzz, how to lay down, how to chalk and pull, how to clean, and how to put the backing paper on a larger, I'm talking 12 by 18 plus sized Chalk Couture transfer. So guys, again, I am Jamie Makin, and I really appreciate you watching my video, and I hope that this was helpful. Let me know in the comments which tip you found the most, like, mind-blowing. Or I don't know, just the one you liked the most. All right, thanks for watching.